Hello, it is Super Orange Cat, and I'm back with another random anime review today. The anime I'm going to be reviewing today is the 2017 summer anime In Another World with My Smartphone. This anime, going into it, I looked at the title, thought In Another World from a Smartphone, and thought, okay, this is going to be an isekai in which it's going to be a little different because there's going to be some degree of modern technology that most isekai don't have, since isekai is generally reliant on having magic. So I thought this is an interesting idea. So let me give a very brief synopsis of the 12 episodes of this anime. It starts with the main character already dead, talking to God, God apologizing because he accidentally killed him with a thunderbolt and said, look, I'll make it up to you. I'll bring you back to life, but I can't bring you back to life in the world you came from. So I'm going to put you in another world I created, which is basically full of magic. Oh, but hey, what do you want? Because I really do feel bad about this. Look, I'm going to give you so many superpowers. It's going to be absolutely insane. And trust me, you're gonna know immediately how to use these. And so basically, God gives him powers, and he also gives him the ability to keep his smartphone and to be able to charge it with magic. So that becomes, of course, a big thing later on. So he goes to this world. He walks around. He gets money through an old man through a long process, and then he helps out two females who appear to be getting robbed. So he helps them out, and they're like, "Oh, you're new here," and he's like, "Yeah, yeah," and they kind of get acquainted. So they kind of become part of his guild. So they become a three-person guild, and then later on, they add a stereotypically Japanese female samurai to it too. So she also joins the guild, and also later on, he ends up saves the duke's daughter's life, and he also goes on and saves the king's life. So, of course, being grateful. Long story short, he ends up being engaged to his daughter, who, by the way, is 12 years old. So, the FBI, of course, started tracing him. And then afterwards, you have more hijinks, generally involved around the four girls being so clearly in love with him, but him being too dense to figure that out. And then also, you have just them generally fighting, having different foes, usually solved by Toya being intelligent or just being so simply overpowered because he knows he can use all the elements and the fact that he can use virtually every null magic spell too. So he immediately surpasses every character in this. And there's a couple of mini arcs in this, like the whole the whole king trying to establish economic ties with a nearby kingdom of beast people. There's also another one of helping to solve a war, end of war that's happening in Ye, which is the name of the samurai female warrior homeland. But these are end up pretty easily solved simply because the main character is so overpowered. Which, and that long story short, at the end, they kind of confess their feelings to him. He ends up being married to them, and in the end, they reveal, oh, by the way, at the end of all this, he ends up marrying 9 different girls. So, because they do emphasize this world is different from our world. Polygyny is very common here. So, like, you having 9 wives is just like absolutely fine and no one really cares. So, let me just go ahead and just say some of the stuff I liked and disliked about it. What I liked was they did make the smartphone relevant because I saw it going into it. I mean, like, okay, the smartphone, whatever technology advantage he has, he's gonna be able to effectively use, and that ends up being a pretty strong plot device throughout the show. Like, he helps the female envoy of the animal beast kingdoms find her younger sister through this, and also he uses it actually to enhance his magic powers at points. He uses it to take pictures, which he can easily transfer to paper to create quick portraits, and stuff like that too, which really just generally used to help people gain his favor. Like, he used that to help get the King of Mistmead, which is the kingdom of these people, on his side. And he used it again to, like, multiple times help kids find their parents. So that becomes kind of a little bit of a recurring fact of this show. But I'm gonna now go into some of the stuff I didn't really like about it. First off, I'm gonna go into the fact that nothing is really a threat in this show. There's been multiple times in this anime where it looked like this thing is about to come and it's going to be a big threat, but then Toya just immediately solves it because he uses his phone and he can use the light javelins to stab it or something. Like, you have this thing with the whole kind of this very weird, almost an arc where it's like these mystical beasts are coming back, and there's this rift in which like super magic beasts are coming back to attack, but this only kind of gets relevant for one very brief thing towards the end, and it's not even a fight or anything. It was just like, oh, the doctor who created all the hanging gardens and stuff saying, oh yeah, that kind of helped prevent me from seeing all the details of your future, but oh yeah, I've been like watching you the whole time. And that's the thing I didn't like because I really wanted to see some giant beast fights. And the only real giant beast fight we got was the one rogue dragon, which Toya, with some assistance of his female compadres, would go on and defeat. And that kind of goes to another thing that I kind of liked about it. Like, at this point, this anime is rapidly going to harem anime territory. And one thing I was kind of glad to see is that the female characters were actually within themselves very competent. Like, you don't have like four damsels in distresses who constantly get in trouble and Toya has to get them out of the situation. Like, you have Ilza, who's a good fighter, Linza, very efficient with magic, Yae, who's a great samurai fighter, and you have Yamina, who in herself has her own special abilities, which I thought I would like one fight where like he screws up and then they come and save him. Although I will settle, I guess, for the last episode, how you have Ye and Elza just completely out trick him and defeat him, which put them in a position where he had to marry them. So I'll settle for that, which they're actually pretty competent what they're doing. And that also goes to another issue I had with this. Yeah, this show did not know whether it wanted to be isekai or harem. Apparently, there's a subgenre called isekai harem, which is generally what this ended up being, where it starts out where it looks like you're going to be having an adventure, fighting like sword art online style, but then you end up just accumulating a harem. You have like 4 or 5 girls who love you so much, but you're too much of an idiot to get it. But at least to Toya's benefit, at least you didn't completely end up with blue balls. He eventually realized, hey, these girls actually like romantically love me. That kind of becomes a thing. Then, so at least there's a degree of closure to that. Although that's not exactly what I came in expecting. And because it's a harem anime, as you would expect, there was a beach episode, so no shock there. And yeah, it was very focused on the girls. I think there was one point where the girls asked for like which of us have the biggest breasts or some stuff. Like completely loaded question for him. Like typical harem anime stuff too. And of course, like I said earlier, made the joke about yeah, his betrothed was a 12-year-old girl. So I'm like, so the FBI was following the whole time, but the FBI, guns are powerful, but they're not as powerful as magic. So of course the FBI couldn't track him down and kidnap him or something, you know. So that's how. And really, I've heard rumors that there's going to be a second season of this because I know the manga continues on past how the show ended. So what do you guys think? Kind of I don't know if I want to recommend, but at the same time, I don't want to say don't watch this either, because this anime does have its high points for sure. It's not the worst anime, and there are moments, like I said, that are actually kind of clever. If I had to give a grade out of 10, I'd give this a 6 out of 10. It's not shovelware bad by a margin, but at the same time, it's not something to necessarily write home about. So, what are your opinions? Have you watched this anime before? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you want to watch this anime now? Leave your comments down below. If you want more random anime review content like this, please subscribe. Please hit the notification button. I appreciate you guys' support. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.